Hey, all you rad dads out there.
Danny, thanks for joining me on the Rad Dads Show. I'm going to start the way we always do by asking, who are you?
I'm Danni Action. I'm a father of two boys, 7 and 3, and husband, or sorry, two. I play music. I'm a tattooer, and yeah, I play drums in the Black Halos.
Right. Okay. So you're busy. And so, okay, I have a question for you right off the bat here. You're a tattooer.
Sure.
Do you say tattooer or tattoo artist, or is it interchangeable? Like, obviously, your preference is tattooer, but
Yeah, tattoo artist, tattooer works. Never tattooist.
okay. Yeah,
That one kind of,
tattooist.
yeah.
Okay, we'll stay away from tattooist, but yeah, I never know. It's kind of similar with like hairdresser. I've seen like hair artist or hairstylist, and so I want to make sure I'm using the right term with you.
Oh yeah, I mean anything works.
Yeah, sweet. So where do you tattoo?
I in Etobicoke, Ontario, at a
Okay,
place called Artworks.
okay, sweet. Um, okay, so that's kind of your I guess we'll call it a day job, but that's probably not just days. But then you're also playing in Black Halos. You played in some other bands over the years too.
Yeah, I play in a band called Acids as well, guitar, and a band called Midnight Towers.
Okay. So kind of multi-instrumentalist too. Are you
Yeah,
originally
yeah,
are you originally a guitar player? Because I've seen on your
yeah,
social media, yeah, you have lots of guitars and stuff. So that's kind of your
yeah.
main deal.
Kind of, yeah, a little obsessed with guitars. I
Yeah, that's
have quite a
okay.
few. Yeah, yeah. I started out as a guitar player, and then there was more of a need for drummers over the years.
Yeah, like if you're the drummer in town, you're kind of half decent. Like you can find lots of opportunities, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. And then so
Everyone needs a
you're
drummer.
yeah, and you're a dad of two. So two boys. And sorry, did you say 7 and 2?
7 and 2, yeah.
Okay. Um, so okay, so this is a Rad Dad show. I have to ask you, do you consider yourself a rad dad?
Sure, yeah, yeah. I guess. I mean, yeah, I think so. I'm pretty rad, I think.
Good. I love that confidence. People are, lots of times people are hesitant to give themselves a compliment. Yeah, I'm a rad dad. But that's what we're all about. It's like, yeah, yeah, you're a rad dad. We're here talking about parenting, and that's like half the battle, I think, too. Is just like thinking about it, reflecting on it. So let me ask you, what are the qualities of a rad dad?
I think like, huh, being a good parent, but kind of keeping yourself mostly,
Okay.
keeping your interests and doing the things you like, but also, incorporating your children into it and just raising them right for the most part. I think, yeah.
So there's that element of your individuality and what makes you you that fits into your definition of being a rad dad. So like explain that to me. So what role does that play in your parenting, kind of maintaining your sense of self?
I mean, I'm not sure. Like, I think just in life, if you just live for your kids, you're going to be pretty depressed, right? If you just do everything for them and nothing for yourself.
Like if you just have your kids and
Right.
nothing else, that might not be, maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, might not be as fulfilling or something.
Right, right. And like I think it also shows them that like they need to be themselves as well, like have their own interests and live their life for themselves as well. And yeah, I mean like I spend a lot of time with my kids. I only like my day job, I only work like 3 days a week or something.
Okay.
So a lot of the time I'm with them. So I just, spend as much time as I can with them like that. And then when I'm off doing other things, they know that I'm just being me. And
Yeah.
I think it's I think it's good for them to know that, they can be themselves and stuff like that.
Yeah. I, I actually really like, this has come up on the show before, and this is something I feel actually pretty strongly about. And I love to talk about, because I think, I think that is something that helps make you a rad dad, right? And a good parent is like, everything that we do is always modeling, right? So you model
Right.
like being nice to people, and like all those things you want your kids to do, do
Yeah,
your homework. So you have to show them you can be responsible too, whatever it is. But some of that is like, yeah, follow your passions. I've had lots of people talk about like, you got to follow your passions. I want my kids to follow their passions. And when they're 7 and 2, they may, your 7-year-old probably is starting to figure out some of those things, the things that they are interested in. And I totally agree with you. Like when you show them that you're excited about stuff and you're, interested in things, they dig that too. They get excited about it too, just like we do when they're excited. I see it in my own kids, that they get stoked when they see that you're passionate about things, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, mine too.
And so like, well, you kind of mentioned that you spend a lot of time with your kids. You have a lot of opportunity to spend time with your kids, which is awesome. How do you guys like some of your passions would be around music? Like, is that something you guys sort of share together? How do you work that in?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. My 7-year-old is a little like 7-year-old metalhead. He's like obsessed with like metal. Like I'm not a metalhead myself, but like, yeah, it's just pretty cool to see his interests. He's really into like Slipknot, which again, I was never really into, but I've had to listen to them a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, like seeing him thrive, like making his own music and stuff is pretty awesome as well.
So is he playing guitar?
He's hitting the strings, but like
Okay.
he sings a little bit and stuff, which is pretty cool.
That's
So
awesome.
we've done a couple songs together.
So like, have you guys like recorded some things together?
Yeah.
Awesome. Have you ever put that out anywhere, or just kind of kept it for
Not
yourself?
yet. I will though.
Okay.
I will though. Yeah.
Well, keep Rad Dads in the loop. We'll definitely help share that when you do that.
For sure. Yeah, we're gonna shoot a little music video and stuff. It's gonna be pretty fun.
Awesome.
But yeah, he's a cool kid.
And so he's interested in music. He's kind of gotten into
like, yeah, pretty much the same stuff I am.
Yeah, that's cool. And I'm sure he just sort of picks up on that from seeing you. What does he think about, drummer in the Black Halos? What does he think about that?
I mean, I don't know. He likes it a lot, but I don't know how much he understands it.
Yeah.
So I don't. He knows it, and he's watched our music videos and stuff like that. But like, he's never come to like a show or anything like that. He's never been to like a show like that. So yeah, I don't know if he quite understands that I play in a band.
Yeah, there's not a lot of opportunities too for kids
no
to come to shows, right?
No, not at all.
To be part of that,
like a festival or something, or like an all ages festival or something.
Yeah, which is part of why like we try and do the all age shows, because we find like kids don't get a lot of opportunity to experience that, especially these days. Like there used to be, I don't know what it was like where you grew up, but for me there wasn't there was more all ages shows back when I was a kid than there are now. It's just sort of not a thing anymore, right?
Unless there is, and I just don't know it, because I mean, I probably just don't pay attention to them as much. There might still be, but I think I'm in the same boat as you. I haven't noticed any.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it anyway. So it's kind of, neat to have those opportunities to do that with your kid and expose them to it, because it can be a little, I mean, we know it can be a little bit intimidating sometimes too for kids. So that's why we try and kind of create that. I was saying before we started, that kind of safe space for kids to experience that.
Yeah. He's been to like big cons. He went to like I said, his favorite band is Slipknot. So Rich Jones from the Black Halos brought him to his first concert, and it was a Slipknot concert, so it was pretty intense.
Yeah, no way. What do you think about that?
Oh, he loved it. Yeah, it's probably the greatest thing that ever happened to him.
That's awesome. So is it like, obviously making music is a big part of things around your house. What about like listening to music? You guys listen to music together?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah. Yeah, in the house, in the car, everywhere.
Yeah, and it sounds like I always think about like, well, I'm kind of broadening my kids' musical horizons. You know, I show them the stuff that I like, and maybe they like it, maybe they don't. But you're also broadening your own horizons. You were saying you're like, you never were into Slipknot before, and now maybe you're a little bit forced to listen to some of that stuff. But you know, it's kind of neat to get that experience back from your kids.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, he shows me a lot of cool stuff. It's pretty fun. I like it. He's got a great personality when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's just fun to hang out with him.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's what you're always shooting for. So when I guess so, your son, your oldest son is 7. So what was it like when you became a dad for the first time? Were you ready for that? What was going on in your life at that time? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I don't think anyone's really ready. But yeah, we were I guess we were pretty ready. We had it wasn't an accident. We had planned him, so that was good, I guess. I guess it's always a little scarier when it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were not ready for the crying, but everything else I think we were ready for. I think he came out with some colic, so it was
Yeah.
it got pretty crazy for a while. But yeah, I think we were pretty ready and had a good time. We've enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah. How did so you mentioned colic. How did you guys deal with that? Like, so we had that experience with our second daughter, and it was like 6 months of like nonstop crying, and then all of a sudden it was like went away.
Yeah, I can still hear the cries in my head. Yeah, we tried everything, and then yeah, exactly. It's just like that, and then it's just gone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I know it's crazy. Like you're doing like the leg maneuvers and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff on the bed. And, you know, I remember just like walking around with my daughter, like holding her and bouncing her, and she's just screaming in my face. And like we couldn't do anything to soothe her. And like literally it was like one day it just stopped. So you wonder, like, is it like something anatomical that hasn't totally developed yet, or what is it? So like, was that the same for you? It kind of just went
it's
away?
exactly the same. Yeah, we did all that kind of stuff, all these different maneuvers, and like, you know, it was just like the one of the most intense times.
Yeah.
And then yeah, just like that, it just stops. I don't know if we moved when he was about 3 months old. I don't know if it was he stopped before that or right after. No, it must have been after. 3 months is old, I think. But yeah, it just all of a sudden, and then you kind of forget about it until you see the videos.
Yeah.
Looking back at the old videos and pictures and stuff.
I know of you, like, yeah, just like sitting there with this like screaming child. It's crazy. And yeah, it's like something, you know, obviously no one can really prepare you for. And you kind of almost just, you just do what you have to do to get through it.
Yeah, there was a lot of grandmother calls and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah. So you guys have family around to help
not
as well?
anymore. Actually,
Mm,
we moved out to we were living when we first had him, we were living in Toronto,
okay.
and we had really no like immediate family around there. So we moved out to the suburbs because my wife's family lived here. And for the first like couple of years, they really helped out a lot. They moved away since, and now we're stuck out here.
Yeah,
But
shoot.
um, yeah, that's what happens when you get cheap rent, and then all the rent goes up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy everywhere.
Yeah, but yeah. So it was nice to have them like right away,
Yeah.
like in the first after the first three. We moved after he was 3 months old, and yeah, my wife's mom really helped with that, and my mom as well.
Yeah, it's nice to have that support around. It's kind of something we sometimes take for granted. You don't realize how important that is, especially right off the bat.
Right.
So, so it sounds like you were kind of mentally prepared for it. So no major fears about becoming a parent. Where, you know, you talked about individuality. Were you worried that you might lose some of that, or had you thought about that?
No, I don't think so. I'm sure I have along the way lost some of it, but uh, no, it wasn't really a fear of mine. Like at that point, I really wanted to have a kid. I was already like, I think like 32 or something like that, and I just really wanted to have a kid.
Yeah.
So I got there mentally, and yeah, it's been a struggle at times, but it's the greatest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, you kind of like, you'll experience like, someone said, I'm trying to remember who said this now to me. Someone on the podcast, but said like, you'll experience like 10 times the negative feelings that you did before, but you'll experience like 10,000 times the positive or something, so
Right. Yeah.
you
Oh, for sure.
yeah, I think it was KJ from Chicks Dig It maybe said that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so how's being a parent changed you?
I get real mad about things. like like if I'm like driving and someone cuts me off, I think about like my kids in the car rather than me, and I get a lot more angry. I think so,
Yeah.
like the get off my lawn kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's happened to me a lot.
Yeah, old man yells at cloud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
I've turned into that.
yeah. That's interesting. Like is it just around like, because I kind of feel the same way. It's funny you say that. Like I feel like I was always so like easygoing before, and now like I don't know if it's like is it the pressure of being a parent, or like, well, maybe not the pressure or like the responsibility, or is it just that you're kind of thinking about your kids? I don't know what it is. What do you think?
Yeah, it's probably a mix of all of it. Definitely some of the pressure of being it, and yeah, just like I don't know. I don't know what I'd do if something happened to them.
Yes.
So that's just always in the back of my mind every day.
Yeah.
And yeah, that just yeah, I don't know. It makes me a little crazy sometimes.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy road to go down, right? Like, and obviously there's people who, they like their kids they get sick or they have a disease, or, heaven forbid they pass away, or, those things. And you kind of hear about those things, and you can't even imagine what it's like to go through that.
Yeah, yeah. I think about it all the time. Yeah. It's scary.
Yeah.
You never like, yeah, before you're a parent, you couldn't even imagine things like thinking this way all the time.
Yeah. Like it's like in risk, you're like in risk mitigation all the time. Like, okay, I don't
Yeah,
want you to get
yeah.
hurt. I don't want you to get sick. What can I do to help you?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we had a little scare. Like, I'm just thinking about this now. We had a little scare when my oldest daughter she must have been about 3. And she had this like lump form on her arm, like out of nowhere. And in the end, it turned out to be like, I'll go there first. In the end, it turned out to be, she had been stung by a bee like
Oh,
a week before on the other arm, like on the finger on the other arm, like other
oh,
hand.
really?
And then she developed this crazy lump on her arm, and actually one on her neck as well. And it turned out to be like, she had this like infection, and her lymph nodes were getting really swollen. But at first they couldn't figure it out. And like, of course, my mind is just like, well, she's got cancer or
Of course,
something,
yeah.
right? And so I remember like just totally losing my mind at that time. And thank God it was, nothing serious. It ended up, being totally fine. But it kind of gave me that was probably my first glimpse into like, wow, like something could really go wrong here. And it does mess you up.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, I've had like experiences with both of my kids. Like right after they were born, both of them were in the NICU for different reasons. Like my first one, his heart was beating like insanely fast, and so
Yeah.
right away, right after like the first night of having him, he got taken away, and then
Oh my God.
hooked up to all these like things, and it's just the scariest thing that's ever happened. And my second son wasn't as bad. He had like low blood sugar, low blood pressure. I can't remember what it was. Something that wasn't that bad, and they didn't seem as scared about it. But the same thing. He got hooked up to all the wires and stuff, and like it was just scary to look at.
Yeah. And especially probably in that first experience too, where like, you've never been through this before. And all of a sudden, like you see your, you're going through all those emotions, but you see your baby like hooked up to CPAP machine and, all this stuff, and they're in the incubator. And we went through that too with my oldest daughter. So it's our first experience as well. She had low oxygen when she was born. And so like right from the delivery room, it was like, yeah, we got to like see her. She cried and stuff, but they took her to this other room and they were like, oh, she needs to go to the ICU. And you're just like, oh, like, what do I do? You're so helpless too. You have you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
But thankfully it sounds like everything kind of turned out okay.
Yeah, it was my first one was I think like 3 days he spent in there.
Yeah.
And like being like right away, it's like you go from like the happiest second of your life to like the most scary second of your life.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad everything turned out okay, it sounds like.
Yeah, they're doing good.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, what's that? Sorry.
Oh, I'm glad for you too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was the same kind of thing. Our daughter was in the ICU for I think 2 days and like on CPAP, and then things just kind of got better and it was all good. We were scared to go home though.
Yeah.
We
luckily my sister was a nurse at that hospital in like the maternity ward.
Oh wow.
So staying wasn't that big of an issue. So we got pretty good treatment there, but going home after that, you don't know if you'll be able to do it.
Yeah. So what was that adjustment like? Like, do you remember thinking back now? Like, do you remember what that was like, sort of getting home and having to figure out the diapers and the swaddling and whatever else you do?
The swaddling, yeah, that was tough. I forgot about that.
We ended up just going with we called it the baby straight jacket, but it was a swaddle that had like Velcro on it.
Yeah,
and you basically just lock them in there.
Too. That thing was great.
Yeah.
We tried the blanket thing. The blanket thing just always came out. I couldn't fold it properly. It was a mess. But yeah, as soon as I found those like Velcro things, that was great.
Yeah, they call, what is it called? Like the magic blanket or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. You kind of go through all those things, at that time, and you're learning so much. But when I find, at least when I look back now, I'm like, oh yeah. Even we were talking about the colic thing. If I really think about it, it was horrible. But when I look back now, it's like, oh, I kind of forget how bad it was.
Yeah, for sure. I happened to like look at my Google photos last night, and in that was videos of him doing that, so it's like fresh in my mind right now.
Yeah.
But before that, it didn't bother me.
Yeah. So we were talking about how fatherhood has changed you. So you said kind of feeling maybe it's that like protective thing. How about in like positive ways? Like what kinds of things have changed about you in maybe a positive way?
More responsible for sure.
Yeah.
I've been a lot more responsible. A lot calmer in different ways than before. Yeah. So, I'll freak out if someone's driving bad, but like, if someone shits on me, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's made me happier. It's made me more productive. I want to show them the things I've done, so I try to do more things, Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's just made me all around better person.
Yeah, is it like maybe there's like that bit of accountability or something, like, oh, I can't be like lazy and sit on my butt. Like my kids are going to see me not like you said, be productive or whatever. You kind of want to show them, I did this project or did that, and it kind of makes you feel proud to show them that, right?
Oh, for sure. They don't all the time enjoy the thing that I'm showing them, but they might one day.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like you're always, you want to give them lots of experiences, I guess. And like some are just boring too. Like, hey, come help me, like, nail this thing in or whatever it is. And some are going to be really exciting. Like come, we'll play music, we'll record a song together. But all those things are like, as you kind of think back to your own childhood, you think, oh yeah, those were important memories for me.
Right. That's what I found myself doing a lot, is like looking back at my childhood and trying to like figure out what I liked about it, and what memories that made me feel good, and then I try to like not recreate that, but give them sort of a similar experience to the things that I felt good about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I find myself looking back a lot.
Are you able to talk about your relationship with your dad?
Yeah, for sure. It was my parents broke up when I was in grade 3, I believe.
Okay.
My dad's been always a little less of the responsible one. So he was just a little immature, I guess. And yeah, I didn't live with him, so we'd see him, and yeah, I don't know. He's a good dude, but he's just, I don't know, not that responsible.
Since becoming a dad yourself, like has it changed your thoughts on your own dad, or your reflection on your own childhood at all? Or
Yeah, for sure. Like I try to like not do certain things that he did, and then do
yeah,
certain things that he did. But I kind of want to be different than him.
yeah,
Um, he wasn't the most emotional person, or yeah, he I don't know how to put this. He was a heavy alcoholic,
okay,
and yeah, he kind of just closes down. He's a really depressed person as well.
okay,
So I enjoyed the relationship with him, like something maybe my sister didn't as much, but like I took him for what he was,
yeah,
and like I have a good relationship with him now, and I always have. It's just he's been like maybe not the best father figure.
yeah. It's interesting. I can see that your wheels are kind of spinning, and you're trying to
Yeah,
kind of articulate like what it is, and you want to be careful. I know you're wanting to be careful not to kind of say the wrong thing. I appreciate you sharing what you have, because I know that's a personal topic and a personal conversation, but I think it's important to like how we reflect on those things, right? Like I think no matter what someone's relationship is with their parent, or what their experience is, they're gonna take some I guess positive things away from that, and they're going to take some negative things away from that. There's things I want to do a little bit differently than my dad did, but there's also lots that I want to emulate too, because I have good feelings about, or good memories about certain things. And that's just kind of part of it, right? We kind of take all these experiences in our life and we try to bring it into our own parenting style. And so it's kind of important. I think it's really important to be able to kind of reflect on that, and acknowledge the things that we didn't like too, because that helps
right.
shape us too. If
Oh
we
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, if we
Maybe
don't,
even more.
yeah, like, yeah, it's not always just about like, what did your father do that you want to do? It might be, what did they do that you don't want to do?
Well, even some of the bad things that he did were good memories for me.
Yeah,
Like
that's interesting.
he used to when I was like a kid, he'd have this bar he would go to, and it was in a mall. So whenever we'd go spend the weekend with him, he'd go into the bar and give us some couple of bucks, and we'd just go around the mall having fun. I mean, that's probably
Yeah,
not the best parenting move, but it was great for me.
yeah, you have that good memory of it.
Yeah.
Well, you get that that's interesting, because there's, it's maybe a whole nother conversation, but it's like independence as a kid. And we sort of like, even just generationally back then, it was way more like, I would say maybe acceptable to like send the kids outside for like the whole day, be back by supper time or whatever. And that almost like doesn't happen anymore, unless you've kind of got
No,
like
yeah.
a,
You don't see it anymore. Yeah.
yeah, because there's so much, you're worried about being judged by other people, like you're not, watching over your kids enough. They could get hurt, they could, and I think those things are true. And I'm one of those parents too. I'm like, no, don't do that, don't, stay close to me, I need to be able to see you, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
But it's a bit of a different generation too. And there's probably like there's somewhere in the middle that's probably the right thing.
I'd like to get, like, we have a little field in front of my house and like a little park around the corner. I'd love to just tell my kid, oh, just go run over to the park and play. But I don't know, I can't.
I know. Yeah, you're just worried about like, well, what, like if something happens, like, it's probably not going to, but if something were to happen, like you'd never be able to forgive yourself almost, right? You're always fighting with that in your head.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, he's still 7, so it's
Yeah.
not like I have to let go yet.
Yeah, exactly. Are you kind of finding like, so my daughter's 7 too. She just turned 7. I'm starting to find this is like an age where they are like really starting to kind of explore their own independence, their own personality. And it is kind of an interesting thing
Oh,
because I'm
yeah,
starting to
100%.
see like this morning, my daughter, she actually told me this last night. Tomorrow, I want to dress like a teenager. I'm like, well, what the hell does that mean? But she's like, she was like, well, I'm gonna wear sweatpants. I'm like, okay, is that what a teenager does? I guess maybe. And then she did her hair a little bit different. And it kind of gives you this glimpse of like, oh, they're, it's not that long before they're gonna be able to do their, like get themselves all set up for the day and go make their own decisions and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like happening really quick. Yeah, he went from being like just so like dependent to like just doing his own thing now.
Yeah.
He just does what he wants now.
Yeah, which is cool to see, but it kind of, kicks up that protective mode, I guess, a little bit too, where you're like, okay, they can go like get on YouTube by themselves and they can, play with their friends by themselves. And what are they getting into that I need to watch for?
Yeah. Yeah, my son watches a little too much YouTube.
Yeah, I'm with you. We have to set, like, we're starting to have to set expectations. I was looking last night, my TV can actually like lock YouTube. I was like, oh, should I do that? Or is that like, now I'm like, now I'm like affecting like, her trust or, whatever, the trusting relationship. So you just never know. It's like, it's hard to navigate those things.
I've contemplated like stuff like that too. And then I was like, even like the kind of not bad stuff he watches, but like just the stuff that is a little more risque as far as a 7-year-old is I don't know, a lot of it he's like taking out good things from it.
Yep.
So it kind of puts me in this like balance where I kind of want to restrict him a bit, but kind of don't want to restrict him because he's learning his own stuff.
Yeah, they
So
learn.
it's hard.
They pick up on that stuff, right? They learn new terms and concepts and whatever. And yeah, that is neat to see. I think it does help them mature a little bit. There might just be that need to like the way we kind of approach is like, well, if you're gonna watch YouTube or whatever, like I'm gonna kind of check in pretty regularly because I like sometimes you can spiral off into some weird stuff that's maybe inappropriate or whatever. So
Yeah, there's weird stuff on there.
Yeah. Even the stuff that's like, quote unquote age appropriate, like some of it seems like it was like, like AI generated or something. And it's like
Yeah.
It's so weird and bizarre.
Yeah. I mean, like, even like the toddler videos, it seems like they're a robot. Like they start singing like the normal songs like Wheels on the Bus, but then they're like I don't know, it like changes weird parts about it, like different lyrics and stuff. It's strange.
Yeah, I don't know if you like. Do you like? Are you familiar with like Tim and Eric? Like, Tim and Eric, awesome show.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but yeah, like I've heard of them.
Well, it's like really absurd, weird comedy, weird stuff, like crazy video effects and stuff. And I feel like some like kids YouTube is like that. Like you're just like, what the hell is this? And your kids are like mesmerized by it because it's so weird and they don't realize it's like, I don't know, it's like brain poison.
Yeah.
Some of it. So yeah, it's always a balance, right? That's the whole thing. I guess speaking of balance, for example, you guys have a tour coming up. We'll talk about that in a second, but how do you guys achieve that balance at home? You mentioned you have a fair bit of time, like when you're home, you've got lots of time with the kids, but how does that work when you're away?
Um, well, this one, my wife's mom's coming over, so that's gonna be okay. But it's pretty decent. Like, this haven't really like played much in the last few years, obviously,
Yeah, I
because
guess
of
that's right.
COVID and everything. So my 2-year-old he was a COVID baby, so he hasn't really experienced any of that. I've gone. I think the last time I went away to play, I don't even think he was born yet. Yeah, no, he wasn't. No. So I played locally, but like, yeah, the last time I went away was even before that kid was born. So I haven't had to deal with it too much. We'll see how this one goes.
Yeah. Well, luckily we've got some, whatever, FaceTime and all that kind of stuff, right? So we can still
Yeah,
remain
yeah.
connected.
This little run we're doing is just like we're going to BC for a couple of days, and then we're back in Ontario. So it's like a weekend away, almost, maybe like 4 or 5 days away. So it's not gonna be too big of a deal. And then even when we have the shows here, I might be away from them for like maybe 2 days. So it's not
Yeah.
really gonna test it too much.
Yeah,
But
you're kind of doing like a weekend at a time sort of thing, a few days at a
yeah,
time. Yeah, which is nice. Um, are you guys based out of Toronto now, or like the Toronto area now?
sort of. The band's based out of Vancouver, but
That was what I thought.
pretty much
Yeah.
all the guys that were in the band in Vancouver are either not in the band or live in Ontario, except for Billy, the singer.
Okay.
So Billy's still in Vancouver. This is probably the reason that I'm in the band. Um, Rich Jones and Jay Millette, the original guitar players,
Yep.
both live here. So in order for them to like, play and stuff, it made more sense to have guys locally for them. So me and John, the bass player, made more sense for us to be with them here. So that's probably how we're part of the band.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense. So it's just Billy who's in Vancouver, and then
Yeah, so then we only have to fly one guy around.
right. Okay. So well, let's talk about Black Halos. You have a new album out. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, it's been in the works for a little while. It's finally out, and I think all the vinyl sold out the day it came out. So no one has it.
That's good. People were excited about new Black Halos, and this is kind of back to oh shoot, are we good? Can you hear me?
We're good.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I was just saying people are excited about new Black Halos, and back to part of the original lineup as well, and so there's some excitement around that, right? And I've seen lots of reviews kind of talk about this return to form, and I think I have to agree, like, this album kicks ass. It sounds so good.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, what's the reception been like for you guys? Like,
pretty good. Yeah. Well, no one said they hated it yet, so that's always good news.
well,
yeah, I enjoy the record myself. We've been working on it for a while, so I'm so happy it's out now. And yeah, all the reception has been great. Had good video views on the videos and stuff. So yeah, we're really happy about it.
yeah, that's awesome. And then you mentioned you've got a tour coming up. So tell me a little bit about the tour.
Yeah, it's just a small little thing. We're just doing a couple dates. We're doing Vancouver on Friday of next week, and then we're going to Victoria.
Yeah.
And then we're flying back. And then we're gonna do some dates here, Toronto, London, Hamilton.
Okay. Other plans for touring? I know you guys were teasing like a bit of Europe and stuff like that. Is that
hoping? Yeah, we're hoping. Hopefully that's in the works. We'll see. I'd like to get out there. I've myself have never been to Europe, so
okay.
that would be fun to go.
Yeah, totally.
I would love to go out there.
When did you join the band?
I'd say 4 or 5 years ago at this point. Okay. But most of that's been COVID.
Yeah, kind of like that, the excitement of that happening and the whatever momentum you had, what any band at that time just like tanked, right?
Yeah, right before all the lockdowns, like I think it was like January 2020, we were out in Vancouver and we did like 2 huge shows at the Rickshaw, like 2 nights. And it was like the momentum was so great. And then just
Yeah.
everything just stopped.
Yeah. Just brutal. Hey. And you guys had released like around that time, you guys released your like B-sides rarities collection, right?
Yeah, we released a few things. There's that. We released
You had an EP that came out too.
yeah, we've had here there right here. Yeah, we put out Uncommon Wealth, and we put out a another one for Chai Pig when Chai Pig died.
Right.
And yeah, that was a fun one. Like a great song came out of that one. Really like that one. But yeah, we've been like during all of COVID, because I have like a little studio downstairs.
Yeah.
And Rich, the guitar player, has a studio, so we've been sending stuff back and forth the whole time, working on things throughout all of lockdown and stuff like that. So it's been pretty fun, actually.
Yeah. It's good you've managed to stay busy and stay active with the band during that time. I don't know that everybody's been able to kind of figure out how to do that. So it's good you guys were able to make that work.
Yeah.
And it kind
Yeah.
of culminates in this release.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, most of it was recorded. Well, I guess it's still a pandemic, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Oh,
we're kind of, yeah, no, are we sure? I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I have no clue.
we know this is still out there, and we just don't, nobody knows really like what's going to happen now. Right.
I just realized that the entire time I've been looking at the wrong side of my phone. My camera's over here, isn't it?
It's okay. My camera's up here, and it always looks like I'm looking down below for whatever reason, because it's an external camera. So that's all good.
But yeah, we've been like demoing all sorts of stuff. Rich writes a lot of songs, so we have like great songs. So hopefully we can do something with those.
Awesome. Yeah, so there might be some more material coming our way at some point here.
Hopefully, yeah.
So tell me, where can people find Black Halos online? Where should they look for information about tours and stuff like that?
I would just go to probably our Instagram. We have a link tree with all the info on there. Yeah, our Instagram is probably the best place to go, I'd assume. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everything's on.
Yeah, I'll put up some links when the episode comes out. I'll put up some links so people can find you guys and see what's going on. So the album's How the Darkness Doubled. I'm super stoked about it. It's great. Love it so much. Hopefully, I don't know, you guys have any plans for hitting anywhere else in Canada? We'd love to see you in Edmonton.
I would love to go out there. Yeah, I haven't been out that way in a while, so that would be great. Yeah, I guess stay tuned and hopefully we do. Yeah. Another great thing about that record was we got Michael Monroe
right
to sing on it too, which was so awesome. I've been a fan of his for so many years.
Yeah.
And yeah, kind of beside myself, like thinking about it, just to be on a song with him was super awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And because like Rich plays with Michael, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really, really special for you guys. That's amazing. So yeah, like I said, we'll put up some links and help people find the new record. I really want to thank you for your time today. This has been really great chatting with you, and getting to know you a little bit, and you sharing your experiences as a dad. Do you have any advice for dads out there at all? Or maybe people who are new dads?
I say just maybe don't put your kids in a box.
Okay.
Well, also
like literally don't put them in a box.
Yeah, also literally. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like a lot of people try to do things the same way as everyone else.
Yep.
And I feel like there's a lot of things good about not doing that. And yeah, that's how we kind of try to live our lives over here, is not doing the same thing as other people. Not to like a fault, hopefully, but
no,
yeah, we just like to think outside of the box on things.
Yeah, I think a theme of our discussion today is individuality.
Yeah.
And it's like for us as dads, but also for our kids, and giving them the opportunity to become who they want to be. So I think that's great advice. Because you're right, like we can just get in this this rut of like, oh, you know, everybody else in the neighborhood put their kids in soccer. Like, do we need to sign up for soccer? Do we like I don't know how important all that is. Like you want to give your kids, it's a balance, like we talked about before. You want to give your kids
Right. Yeah. I feel
experiences
like,
and let them choose.
yeah. I feel like I also feel like that I don't want them to feel left out of things as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You know, I think just being attuned to it is what's important, right? So if you know, supporting your kids in what they're passionate about. So yeah, I like that. Thanks, man. This has been a great chat. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, but we worked through it. It was all good.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no,
internet here.
No, it's totally fine. Yeah, again, appreciate your time, and yeah, congrats with the new record. Good luck with the upcoming tour, and yeah, hopefully we'll see you in Edmonton sometime soon.
Yeah, hopefully soon. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, man.
You bet. Yeah, thanks, Danny. Appreciate your time.
Anytime. Take it easy.